Hi everybody, it's Missy again. Today is August 9th, 2012, and this is my third video blog. Actually, this is my fourth attempt at trying to make it. Here's hoping I don't get interrupted again, or my computer doesn't start messing up again. The audio track was off. The words weren't matching up with my mouth. It kind of looked like one of those old Godzilla movies when they dubbed it into English. But, so I rebooted and tried again. Today we've got some more rain going on. We've already had 2 thunderstorms, and there's more coming. We had some yesterday evening, and throughout the night. And just like a couple of weeks ago, with my last video blog that was titled Bad Day, I'm not reacting, or my body's not reacting the way it normally does, or used to for the last 12 years, to this kind of rain. Normally the first day, especially if it has thunderstorms, would put me in bed very close to a pain crisis, if not in one. And if the rain continued for a second day, it was a guaranteed pain crisis. And a pain crisis is what I consider to be a 10 out of 10. And that is when nothing is taking the edge off my pain. Literally all I can do is just lay on the bed and cry. I can't walk. Nobody can touch me. My muscles are so tense and so tight that even touching my shoulders sends bolts of pain all over the place. I normally have a pain crisis once or twice a month, especially on the first couple of days of my period. But I haven't had a pain crisis in the last 6 weeks. The bad day that I videoed, it was a bad day, but it wasn't what it should have been. And after 16 years of learning my limits and learning what my body could or could not do, how long it could do things for, what the responses, the reaction my body would have to activities, it feels really weird to be back, almost back at the beginning, and having to learn all over again how my body's going to respond. In some ways it feels like I'm going backwards. And when those thoughts come up saying that I'm not making any progress, I'm going backwards, I can't even read my own symptoms anymore. I try to remind myself that the reason for that isn't because they've gotten worse, but because they've gotten better. And I was not expecting that, not at all. So I'm really still surprised by it. I keep expecting it to fail and to make my situation worse than it was when I started the Cymbalta. But so far, so good, and I'm still loving the stuff with no side effects, which is really good. I'm pretty lucky in that area, though. I very rarely have a really bad side effect to a medication. I know with my pain medication, it can make me itchy, but that's not, and it's not an allergic reaction itchy. I know that because if I take Benadryl, it does nothing. It's actually a side effect of the medication. It can cause itchiness, it can cause, the standard constipation, nausea, lightheaded, dizzy, stuff like that. It also makes you photosensitive, which, they didn't know that 10 years ago about this medication. It showed up on the medication information sheet, but I didn't read it. This is why I learned to start reading it. I went to my father's funeral my adopted father's funeral a few years ago, and for the first time in my life, I got sun poisoning. Just from sitting in the car driving up there to Massachusetts, in a suburb of Boston, Medford, and from sitting at the gravesite in the cemetery for about, I think it was like 45 minutes, but I popped up with all these, they looked almost like chicken pox on my arms, and I had a doctor check them out, and they said it was sun poisoning. And I'm like, but I didn't get a burn. So I looked up my drugs again, each one of them, on the manufacturer's website to read any new information about side effects, and sure enough, it showed up for one of my medications. So now I have to be very careful about going out in the sun, which kind of stinks when you live in Florida. Today my pain is sitting at about a 6.5. If I start moving around, then it ups to a 7, but that's to be expected with the thunderstorms and things like that. Plus, I've been a lot more active. I've gone out more often in the last 3 to 4 weeks than I did in the last 2 years. And I'm not counting doctor's visits. This is just literally just going out, going to a friend's house, or going for a walk or something like that. I made a new friend, and we have a lot in common. We get along really well. She has a 17-year-old daughter who is autistic. And I like her daughter too. She's really sweet, and her husband's a great guy as well. So I started going out. I've gone over to her house and to hang out for a while. Last Thursday as a matter of fact, I went over there and we went swimming for a couple of hours. I figured that would be okay because swimming is very low impact. It's something I greatly enjoy doing, and it's exercise. I was really careful to not overdo it because I know how weak my muscles are, but I had a blast, and we were there from like 1 o'clock in the afternoon till 8 at night, something like that, I think it was, and still no pain crisis. I couldn't believe it, but it feels good to actually be going out. I'm also been getting dressed every day, which to most people would sound weird, like, everybody gets dressed. I didn't. Part of it was depression, and part of it was my pajamas are the most comfortable clothes I own, and my attitude was, if I'm not going anywhere and I'm just going to be sitting in bed, why make the extra laundry by wearing, getting dressed and not going anywhere? It just makes more work for somebody. But I realized that on the days that I did get dressed, I seemed to have a little bit more energy. I wanted to do things than I had on the days where I stayed in my pajamas. So I've tried to get dressed every day. I haven't succeeded at that every single day, but I've gotten dressed every day more often in the past month than I had probably in a year before, for the year before that. So I created a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet today, since I have to learn my body all over again and my symptoms. It means I have to keep very close track of them. Hold on 1 second. Anyway, I do keep my pain journal, but in order to learn in greater detail the reactions of my body, I have to keep it in greater detail. So every hour or so, I'm writing in the Excel sheet the date, the time, what my pain level is at, what activities, if any, I've done, and what my symptoms were, or are. were in response to the activity or are right now. I've done that before, which is how I learned, in part how I learned how my body was functioning. So I have to do that, and that's no big deal, I guess. But I do know that one of the main things pain management doctors look for to see if the pain management plan is working is that the patient has increased functioning, that they're able to do more, not just the lower pain level, but that they're actually like returning to work if possible, or they're doing more more stuff around the house, or they're going out to the stores, which they hadn't been doing, whatever. That whatever activities that person enjoyed before chronic pain took them off their feet, if they start doing those activities again, that shows the doctor that the treatment is effective and that this patient's goal was not to get high, that it was to increase functioning, increase their mobility, and get back to actually living their life instead of just existing day to day. I get to tell my doctor that that's exactly what's happening with me. I'm going very slow because you can't go from being mostly bedridden to running around all day long without causing some harm. So I have to take it very slowly. And in order to keep my motivation to continue, I have to start with small things, like getting dressed every day, and build up from there. But so far so good. I've been feeling pretty good, and I have been more active, and I'm really enjoying being able to go out. And I'm looking forward to this continuing, or even getting better when my Cymbalta dose is increased to the correct level. Not only is it helping me with my pain, which I was not expecting, but it's a great benefit, I'll take it. It's also helping me with my depression. It's helping me a lot better than the Spreadsheet did, and a lot better than Zoloft did when it stopped. Before it stopped working, Zoloft worked great, but I was on it for a number of years, so my body adjusted. My body's pretty good at doing that. For example, a 12-hour medication doesn't last 12 hours in my body. I'll get maybe 8, and that's been proven by blood tests. On a 12-hour med, your blood level should be at a certain amount over those 12 hours, and before it drops below therapeutic levels. And mine was always below therapeutic levels by 8 hours, sometimes even 6. So, well, that's pretty much it for me. I'm going to try to do a couple more videos, information-wise, and then try to edit them with Windows Movie Maker. That ought to be fun. I made a video earlier and spent a couple hours playing with the program to see how to cut out silences or mistakes. Also seeing how to add pictures. So if I have pictures of something I've done or someplace I've gone, I can put them in the videos to show you. So that'll be it. I will talk to you all later, and I really appreciate everybody's welcoming me and support. It does mean a lot. So thank you all. See you next time.